All right. So, what if the real reason America is always yelling at itself is so that the richest 10% don't have to pay their share? That's it. So, we're all arguing about politics all the time. But really, it's just the upper middle class that's running a reality show so that you don't notice that they've got all of our snacks. If you look at the core vulnerability, here's the problem for rich folks. If everybody in America ever agreed on anything, well, they'd be in a heck of a lot of trouble. If the working class and the middle class suddenly looked at each other and said, hey, wait, we're all broke for the same reason, it'd be over. You'd have universal health care by next Tuesday. Student loans would be wiped out by Friday. The Pentagon would be converted into affordable housing by the weekend. That's the nightmare scenario for the richest 10% in America, not the super billionaires. We're talking about the folks with two homes and a Peloton room or something. These are the dream hoarders, the people who say middle class, but also have a financial advisor. So their goal isn't to stop democracy, it's to make sure we're busy fighting about other stuff to use it. They know the math. If the bottom 90% ever got together on the same page about taxes and wages and healthcare and housing, there'd be a democratic earthquake. So their goal isn't to stop democracy, it's to make sure we're all too busy fighting about other stuff to use it. That is the division of strategy. So, how do they do it? Well, easy. It's the oldest trick in the book. It's simply divide and rule. You keep everybody mad about everything except money. Now, if you look at that, take a look at immigration, turning coworkers into competitors. Instead of both sides saying, we deserve higher wages, well, you just make it about us saying, you're taking my job. It's genius. Nobody ever looks up at the CEO who just gave himself a $50 million bonus. They just glare at the new guy in the break room who's eating lunch too fast. Now, there's racial resentment and the most reliable distraction in history. Since the 1960s, you've got basically political mad libs going on. You don't say race, you just say inner cities or welfare queens or law and order. It's going to make poor white voters think that government help only goes to somebody else. Meanwhile, the rich are taking in more handouts than anybody. You got tax breaks, bailouts, subsidies. And somehow that's not welfare, it is incentives. Take a look at why we're invading different cities. Then you've got culture wars. This is our emotional treadmill. When things get too close to economic reform, boom, it's time to argue about bathrooms or something, guns or books or whatever's trending this week on cable news. They basically turn politics into pro wrestling. You think you're fighting for your team, but really you're just buying more merch. Now, here's the brilliant part. All of this outrage is really profitable. The same people who divide us sell us the shows, the ads, and the subscriptions that keep us divided. You don't have to believe the issue. You just have to stay really mad about all of it. So now you have a system where everybody's mad, but nobody's winning. We're all like, I'll fight anyone except my boss. Working class folks and the middle class keep arguing over symbols and flags and pronouns. Who gets to say Merry Christmas? While the wealthy are in the back quietly rewriting the tax code. You're going to end up with 24-hour outrage and 0 hour wages. They don't need to rig elections. They just rig all of our attention. Because if we're watching the circus, nobody notices who owns the tent. Now, this isn't really new. Empires out there have been doing this forever, pretty much. The British did it in India. The Romans did it everywhere. America just put a Wi Fi signal on it. So this is what you call mercantilism for the meme age. It's a small class that manages the flow of wealth by managing the flow of conflict. Back then, they divided colonies. Now they divide timelines. And instead of sipping tea, well, you're going to ship outrage clips to everybody. Now, here's the twist. American elites don't keep power by force. They keep it by conversation. Every time you and I fight online about, I don't know, you talk about drag shows or Chick-fil-A, somebody in the top 10% is going to get their dividend. They're not going to fear revolution. They're going to fear realization. Because if we all woke up one day and said, hey, wait, we actually agree on healthcare and taxes, they'd have to move to Mars. And Elon's already got dibs there.